Welcome back, guys. It's Poddie time. I'm Jameson.
I'm Jake.
Let's jump right into it.
Let's jump right into it. So what's the first thing we're talking about today, Jameson?
Kim and Kanye. There's been a lot of rumors saying that they're going to get divorced, stuff like that.
Dude, that's wild.
But there's not, any, definitive, source. People are just like, I think they're going to divorce.
So they're just making stuff up?
Potentially. I mean, we got an article here from Vanity Fair. You want to give it a read, or you want me to?
Jump in, good sir.
All right, this is from Vanity Fair, and it is titled, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West reportedly have no bad blood between them, but their marriage did get downright toxic.
How did it get downright toxic there, Jameson?
Good question. Great question.
Even with divorce rumors still unconfirmed, the anonymous quotes about the couple keep coming. By Emily Kirkpatrick. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah. Despite no actual paperwork being filed or official announcement being made to the press confirming their divorce, that hasn't stopped a whole lot of sources surrounding Kim K and Kanye from dishing to the press about exactly what went wrong with their relationship.
So far, there's been no information from the two central figures involved. This is such a weird article. Since the news first broke last week, but there's been an endless supply of anonymous intel.
Anonymous.
A source told Us Weekly on Friday that the couple has been keeping their distance from each other for the sake of their 4 children. Kim and okay, so basically it looks like they're apparently they're splitting.
Who knows?
Apparently they're splitting, but it isn't actually like a confirmed thing. They're just coming. I mean, maybe they are. Are they actually? Did anyone actually talk to them, or are they just saying? It says there's been no information from them that they've actually done anything, but we just think they have. So we're just trying to stir up whatever news we can because Vanity Fair and every other news article needs some type of viewership. They need them clicks. Clicks create money, which creates false stories. So they very well could be splitting.
And here's the interesting part. But it reached to the point where the bickering turned to nasty blow-ups and confrontations. And since neither of them wanted the kids exposed to that type of hostility, they stayed apart. Kanye was reportedly living primarily at his family's Wyoming ranch, while Kim stays with the kids at their Hidden Hills, California mansion. Not house, people. Mansion.
Hidden Hills mansion, though.
Yeah.
So get it right, Jameson. God. And while she hasn't even begun the formal process of legally ending her marriage, Kim is apparently already ready to move on. It's pretty quick, ain't it?
And this is all like an assumption.
Yeah, so it's like they're legitimately assuming.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're probably just it's not working because he's in Wyoming, she's in a mansion.
What other reason could there be of why
they're fighting? So that means that if a couple,
the worst.
That means if a couple fights, then that means that it's just ending. There's no way that a couple will fight and get through things and work through it. It's only divorce. That's the only thing that fighting ever entails.
That's the only solution.
That's only what follows suit. When people argue and fight and they bicker, that's the only thing that happens. You just automatically divorce. So.
Were you being sarcastic? Because I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, no, I'm completely serious.
You're like, no.
I'm like, serious. I just said it.
What is up with you in that blanket? What is this?
What are you talking about?
Okay, moving on. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the scoop with them.
Naturally, Kim has a total support. Wait, are we still going with this?
Can. Go for it.
Okay, here, we'll just read the last little bit and we'll move on.
All right.
Interested. Naturally, Kim has the total support of her family, too. All the sisters are aware of the situation, and they're very supported. The source said. The source. So this could be like some kid that's like 5 years old. He's like, they have the support of the family, so...
You ever had a dream where you had...
When you had...
To do you so much you could do anything.
That's vanity. That's like every news outlet right now.
I love how it's just all anonymous, and this is like just basically...
They all love Kanye. Dude, is he about to drop another album? Kanye's probably about to drop another album.
Yeah. Called Family Matters.
Kim Kardashian's about to drop another album. She's about to drop another hot single.
You think so?
Dude, she might.
Who knows?
They all love Kanye like a brother, but agree it's best they part ways. And even Kim and Kanye have apparently made peace with the situation, as a source reported that they have no bad blood and that they are very cordial. He's focusing on his world, and she is focusing on her world. Yeah, screw their kids, right? It's like, hey, kids, figure it out. We don't want to subject you to any arguing or anything like that, so we're going to divorce.
Yeah, and people, once again, this is all based off of someone's assumption. Like, it's a rumor.
I mean, it'd be funny if, like, the next day they're like, oh, yeah, it's actually legit.
Yeah.
It's like their source was just Kanye West. He was just, he's like, yeah, it's happening. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, though? You know?
Yeah.
Because that's how you talk about
Ah!
He's like, dude, it ain't working. So, that's happening.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the article. Thanks, Emily Kirkpatrick. For contributing, being a contributing writer at Vanity Fair.
Yep.
Way to go. Super cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Now that we're done with that, we're going to move on to our main discussion. So, with that said, what's the topic that we're diving into today, Sir Jameson?
Determination.
Determination.
Yeah.
Hold on. Determination. Hold on. That's what I wanted to do. Yeah. All right, so about determination. We have some questions lined up for each other that I'd like to start off with.
Yeah.
That can kind of talk about our points of view with determination, how it's played a part in our lives. So, with determination, it's kind of a broad topic to jump into, but, with a question I had on it is, so what characteristics as a person do you think is required to be a driven, determined person in life?
Wow. That's a good question. I definitely I definitely think to be a driven, determined person, you need to have patience. But you also need a sound mind too. You need to be mentally all good, because I feel like you can easily, if you're not a very confident person, you can definitely like kind of be hindered a little bit. And what characteristics? I definitely think patience plays a big part too, because especially when wanting to achieve something, you're not going to instantly get it. And if you don't have that patience, you'll just scrap it all together because you want, you want things now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and on that, I actually had another question on that.
Okay.
Why do you think having determination is an important element, or would you call that a characteristic? Determination.
It can be. I think it's an attribute.
Okay, attribute. That's the word. Okay,
Yeah.
I was getting I don't have the right word. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
So why do you? Okay, let's back up for a second.
Okay.
Why do you think determination, in general, is an important attribute to have, just in someone's life, whether it's on a daily level or something that's something that, because it does play a part in your life every day. But why is that important to have in someone's life? Especially in a man,
Yeah.
So what comes to mind when I say that?
Well, being the head of the household, you have to have your priorities in order, and having that determination to provide for your family, especially when you get married, that's huge. You know what I mean? Instead of, being like, oh, I'll do this tomorrow.
So like
Or
procrastination.
that as well. Yeah, procrastination also can hinder you when it comes to that. And yeah, I think that for anyone, determination is kind of crucial.
Yeah, like let's kind of narrow that down specifically though.
Okay.
Like because there's everyone has goals, right?
Yes.
Everyone has goals, and determination obviously plays a huge part in that because you want to be able to, you read a lot of stories of other people that have great success, whatever goals they have, and that can be something that's very inspiring. And when it comes to other people's goals, when they accomplish something and they achieve something, that can be inspiring and it can motivate you, right? At first, it's like, boom, there's a big emotional response to that, and you're like, I'm going to go do whatever, lose a bunch of weight, get in shape, or I want to earn this amount of money this year, or I want to work on a certain personality trait this year and nail it. Like, I want to be better with people, or I want to be more extroverted. There's some type of goal, and you have the determination to want to achieve that and accomplish something. That's where I think that's kind of the scope that we're mainly pertaining to when it comes to this topic. And one thing I thought about a lot within the past few months, like back in October when we actually first started this podcast, I was listening to that book by David Goggins.
Yeah, I think you showed me that.
Can't Hurt Me, that book.
Yes.
That guy just had such a rough beginning, from when he was a child, he had a crazy abusive father, and he had all these elements thrown at him where he could look at his life and just be like, I'm going to give up and quit. And he did that for a little bit. But one day when he just had enough, and he's like, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to be this person. I'm not going to be average anymore. And he set out to just completely dominate every goal in front of him. Like, the dude had to go through the Navy SEALs training 3 times in the same year, if I'm recalling correctly. And he was determined as hell to just blast through his goals and his struggles. And he had an insane work ethic and way of doing that. But he came from nothing, and he just completely surpassed other people that were ahead of him. And he had that fire, that determination to really exceed and excel in life. And dude, that book, I constantly think of that whenever I'm slipping up on myself. I'm like, I need to be way more determined. I need to reach that level, that amount of determination in my life, in my own areas. And I see that all the time, that vigor, that he has for life, and to just get out there and chase every day. I strive to have that level of determination for myself in my own aspirations. I think it's super powerful. So, I mean,
it's very empowering too.
It is extremely, yeah. So, I mean, is there anything that you get a drive from that really makes you want to chase after something and stay determined?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I would say that anyone's passion for something helps with that as well. With music, writing, stuff like that, but also when it comes to work as well. Especially because I work for my family.
Yeah.
And stuff, and I don't know, just having that drive to, of course, not let them down, of course, and kind of proving your worth and stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one more thing I pulled from that too, that in a lot of areas of my life I have. It's funny because there are goals that I have that I'm still going after, that I was probably going after, since 2006 or something, where I still have the same goals, same things I'm interested in. And there's a lot of peaks and valleys you experience with things that you want to go after sometimes. I mean, definitely is. But it's just having that determination to never give up, You just keep having your sights set on what it is you want, and you really just have to go after what you want. And it's having that determination to just consistently go after it and to just not give up. Because if there's a lot of trials and things that come your way, or a lot of setbacks you experience, it's really just being able to look past that and saying, I'm just going to keep going. Just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, and another aspect of that is definitely your willpower.
Yeah.
Or in other words, your heart.
Yeah.
Too. Like, how badly do you want this?
Yeah.
Even if
Absolutely.
you're not going to get it, like, next week, are you still going to go for it?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And just taking, like, baby steps. So you can really, like, just, even if you don't get it next week, you could get it in the next month or the next few months or the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Depending on whatever it is. It's kind of out there.
The first question I got for you is, when was the first time when determination had been a driving force to accomplish a major goal that, like, took a while?
Well, so there's a lot of, video projects that we do, and depending on the size of it, it requires a different amount of, like, planning, and a lot of pre-planning that goes into it. And when you're actually there shooting it, and then when you're at the editing stages and all that, overall that can be drawn out over, like, a few months. It could,
Yeah.
or if it's a much smaller scale project, that could take, like, 2-3 weeks or something. But or especially when I've worked on, like, bigger films, where it's, like, a legit, like, film that's, like, got a lot of production to it. A lot of that stuff just takes, I kind of feel like willpower, or, I mean, well, okay, before I get, like, tongue-tied, I'm trying to say that there's a lot of different elements that come together on a set like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's, like, really big or if it's kind of small, depending on how complex the shoot is needed to be. There's a lot of elements that are involved, regardless. And it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes it happens where it's, like, one of those situations where, like, a lot of things just, like, go wrong at once. Where, like, something's wrong with the camera, or, like, a monitor you use in the camera stops working, or something breaks down, or something isn't working, or it starts to rain, or whatever, all these things. And, like, there's a lot of, you really got to have your sights set on, like, all right, somehow, some way, we're just going to knock this out and keep it going, even if we don't have all the answers right here, right now. We're going to figure it out as we go, because you kind of have to. It's not ideal, but when you kind of get in situations like that, I feel like it really comes down to, like, you have to be really good at having that determination of, like, seeing certain things through. When it comes to that, it's kind of vague, I guess, but, like, I'm applying that to, like, a lot of different projects we've done before, whether it's, like, a music video, or, like, an actual short film, like a pilot episode. So I guess basically to try and sum that up is that when you're doing projects like that, or when you're doing ones in general where a lot of things can go wrong, you just have to have that mindset that's really fortified, and you're like, we're just going to see this through and just plow through whatever circumstances come our way. Because it's just had to be like that sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
So that's my answer.
Sweet. So the next question I have for you is, when has your determination not been enough to help you get through a task? Where you didn't have enough, maybe.
Didn't have enough. Well, gosh.
Like, was
yeah, it just comes down to, like, maybe there's something that's not proper planning for something you need to do, or you're not going about accomplishing something the right way. I think at that, think of it this way: like, if you're trying to get in shape, and, like, get fit and get healthy and all this, doesn't matter how, and like, let's say that's your goal, and you're neglecting your diet 100%. It doesn't matter how hard you're lifting in the gym or how hard you're working at that. It's not going to happen, because you're just not giving yourself the proper amount of preparing, and just taking the correct steps to ensure that you're, like, meeting a goal, meeting a deadline, or being able to be efficient in what it is you're doing in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, we all have shortcomings, but I mean, is that something that happened to you, or like, because yeah, it's kind of wondering, or like, is
Um,
there a specific instance that you can think of, or is it just that in general?
there's times where I've done a photo shoot before where I've been like, vast majority of the time feeling like, yeah, these were pretty good images. I liked how this turned out. There's times where you feel like, man, like my direction for the client I'm working with wasn't up to par. It wasn't as efficient as I'd like it to be, or I just wasn't prepared to like accomplish it. I've had times like that where it's a very humbling learning experience. Like so over the past like 2 years, I've dealt with that quite a bit, and it definitely is like a very humbling experience to really show you just what mountain you have to climb. And it's good. I think that just kind of puts you at the next level. Say, okay, if you want to get to this spot, then you just have to go through this and deal with how can you accomplish it better. What's going to set you on the right path, or what's going to get you prepared to really accomplish that next level that you set out to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to get through those rough times, or getting through those L's you're going to take, so to speak, to get you ultimately to that bigger W, you got to be determined to get through that. You got to have some grit about you, son.
Yeah, and like so from like that you learned like you need to like have the determination for like prep time or something, right? Or what would you say?
I think
How could like determination play a role in like how did it play a role?
Well, it's kind of going back to the first thing we were mentioning, where if you experience some
Hardships, maybe not giving up, or
where you stay determined to just keep going, although you're gonna hit some hard points where you might not have a good turnout, or it might go bad.
yeah,
It's like if you experience some hardships with that, like it doesn't come out good, or it doesn't go as planned, or it just didn't work. You have to be determined to just keep going. Keep going. Just gotta keep going. So
exactly.
yeah, it's just being able to really set your mind forward on that path, even if you mess up here and there, and it's just not going as planned. You just gotta keep going. So that's definitely coming from personal experiences in my life, whether it's been music, where things haven't gone as planned, or or one thing is like when you're starting out writing songs and like you write a bunch of really bad ones, and like you write one, you're like, man, this sucks. I don't like how this one turned out. But it's like you can also be like, hey, I'm writing a song though. I know how to write a song, even if it's not the best one in the world. You still know how to write a song. You understand the formula of how a song is crafted, and so that can propel you through where you're currently at. Because if you're just fixated constantly on I'm right here and this didn't turn out as planned, you can realize where you're at, but you don't want to be inundated by that and then be stuck there. You want to say, all right, this is where I'm at, but I'm just going to keep going, set my sights higher, not focus so much on where I'm at right now, and just focus on that end goal.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something else to that, but I mean, it pretty much ties up what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So,
did you want to ask me that back?
Yeah, I can do that.
Or did you want to wrap up?
Well, yeah. I mean, how has that been something that's really applied in your own life, sir?
Where my determination wasn't enough?
Yeah.
Where determination wasn't enough. The thing is, I don't want to go back to this. I don't. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I'm talking about too.
Is there anything else?
I'm trying to.
One time, I tried to take my dog for a walk.
Fuck your dog. No,
but he wouldn't go.
Yeah. Determination wasn't enough. honestly, kind of like what you were saying with songs, with music. What
Yeah.
are you doing?
I'm just drinking. What you're saying?
Okay. Trying to think of something specific. Stop. Stop.
Determination, Jameson,
Yeah, I know.
wasn't enough.
Where it wasn't. Never enough. Never. I guess maybe when I was younger, with sports like coach pitch, baseball.
What's baseball?
Okay, so baseball. Yeah, when I was a young kid, my dad was my coach,
Nice.
and man, I was always afraid to bat and stuff because everyone was watching and stuff, and there was this one game, and this wasn't coach pitch or anything. This was like I think they call it minors league, when other kids start to pitch to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was never really the best at sports, so I kind of was just so determined to hit the ball, and I mean I eventually did, but I can just remember feeling so defeated after like striking out, and just like knowing that I have to keep practicing even though I keep striking out. I have to keep practicing, and I started to get really defeated because I felt like it wasn't enough. You know what I mean?
No.
The practicing.
Yeah.
You dingus,
You
yeah.
practice so much.
And I mean, just remembering those times when I was a kid, which once again I did eventually hit the ball, like 10 years later. No, I'm just I'm joking.
Like 20 years.
No, I'm joking. But yeah, I know it's not really like a specific one incident, but I remember it when I was a kid.
Nice.
That being a struggle of mine, and even though I was determined to keep practicing for the longest time, I just couldn't do it, and I felt like it wasn't enough.
So do you think now you can hit balls?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Hopefully
cool.
so.
Yeah.
But I didn't end up sticking with baseball though.
Dang.
Yeah, but I hit the ball.
Dang.
I'm
man.
like, awesome. I quit. No,
First time you hit it, and you're just
I'm
like,
joking.
I'm done.
yeah, no.
5 years old.
Yeah, it was cool. I stuck with it probably until I was, I'd like to say 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I just remember when I was like 9, 10. Like I could hit the ball, but when it came to like a game, that added pressure. I felt like I fell short with my determination. Like I was focusing too much on, he's gonna miss. Yeah.
I think one more thing I could definitely add is just like,
Yeah.
I remember in high school when I was like really breaking out of my shell to do music, there was the fear of like getting up in front of everyone and just like performing, whether it was an acoustic song or at a full band I was performing. And this could either be like in the choir room or actually on stage, whether it was like the spring concert or something, or even just like any shows I've even done. It's like you have that fear.
Yeah.
But then I'll be like, I'm determined to like have a really freaking good time doing this though. Way more than I'm scared of it, And the only way to actually like really get through that fear is just by doing, So the only way to get through that fear you're experiencing and facing right there is to just
do it.
Get up and do it.
Because
And
you're
it's-
not doing it for, all these other people. You're doing it for yourself because you want to prove to yourself as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's what you're passionate
Sure.
about.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to do this. I can do it. I'm fine. And even if you're scared, but I still do it. I'm like, I want to do it way more than I want to be afraid of like, oh no, what if my voice cracks? And it's like, well, so what? No one cares.
Yeah.
Really. And even if it does, it's like, I don't care. It's not that big a deal. I'm not going to beat myself up because my voice cracked on a stage.
The world
Whatever.
doesn't end.
It's like,
you know, life goes on.
You know, get over yourself. Here's the thing about that, though. Yes, I want to do it for myself, but I'm not so fixated on myself.
Yeah.
Being like, yo, I'm the greatest. I'm like, Like, sure, when I'm in the moment, I'm definitely going to be like, yeah, I'm the best. Like, because I have to be confident like that. I'm not going to go up there being like, I'm the worst. Like, I'm going to be like, no, I'm the shit, bro. What's up? I'm going to own this and be done with it.
The worst.
You don't go up there. Yeah, and just like, I suck. I'm Eeyore. Like, no, I'm going to own it.
Yeah, exactly. And
then here's the thing, though. It's like, even when you're in there, I'm like, it doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to kill it. And if you mess up, I'm like, so what? I'm in a high school doing this. Or I'm just on some stage and there's like 20 people in the crowd. Whatever, you know? Even if I was somewhere else where it was bigger or there was more people, still, whatever.
Yeah, and
let go.
Of course, we're all going to mess up, but it's about getting up afterwards and trying again. That determination to keep going.
Oh, and
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and actually to add on to that, there was one time I was playing a show and for some reason my guitar wasn't tuned correctly. So playing the first song on that stage in front of people, it's like their first impression of you. And like it was just like tuned wrong. So
yeah, so like your vocals didn't.
No, like my vocals were still fine. The guitar was just kind of out. So
no,
you're like,
no, it didn't go along with like the melody or something.
Yeah, it's just well, if you're playing like certain chords in like a standard tuning, the song's meant to be played in standard, and if it's just out of tune, then it's like, what? So that's not awesome, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, cool. Then it's like that's something you can add to your stories of like what happened. You know.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it.
Also, I remember. Do you remember doing that "Just the Way You Are" song?
Yeah.
And we did that in like 2 days before the concert.
Yeah.
Like, did we practice like twice?
Yeah, that was like 2 or 3 times. It wasn't a lot.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, but I always remember, like, I was so bold. Like, I still am with it. But I just remember, like, I always had a super bold attitude about it just because I didn't want to be scared about it. I hate that. I hate being scared of something more than just, like, enjoying it. You know? So it's like looking... Yeah, it's like you're going to go... I think the only time I was ever finding myself getting, like, nervous or more, like... I don't like throwing around the word like anxious or anxiety because I feel like that word is abused these days. But people were like, yo, like I was scared. I got anxiety. I'm like, I don't think you know how that works. Like, I think that takes away from like people that actually have like something traumatic they deal with.
You can be anxious, but that's different from like anxiety in itself. You can be anxious about something once, but then anxiety itself is struggling with it constantly.
I've probably actually like legitimately felt that probably twice in my life where I'm like the literal like anxiety thing, but like not to get off track. The main point I was bringing up was I found myself probably more anxious or having that kind of vibe when I was just around other people that were like that, where they like love to have this idea of like, oh, it's scary, you know, like being in front of people. I'd be like, I don't give a shit. Let's do it and just get it over with. You know, I'm just like, let's go. And the only time I found myself like more like antsy or something is when I was just around people like that for too long.
It's all their fault.
You're absorbing their energy is what I'm saying. Like you're getting.
You are who you hang out with.
And I'm like,
that phrase.
I'm like, I just want to back off and do my own thing, and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's happened like every time where I get up on stage in front of a room full of people and perform. Every time. Like March of 2019, it was the very end of April 2019. We played at the Kitchen BMX skate park, where we played on top of like a ramp. So like we had this biker, like we were performing, like you know the bike ramps, like we're on the platform, we're performing. This biker was just like, it was like dope.
He landed on you?
No, we landed on him. He's dead. No, we were like one of the last bands that went up. We were one of the last. I think we were like the second to last band that went up. And there's like 6 bands total. And this was like different ranges of like how serious bands were. So there would be guys that were like, I'm just doing this for fun, and like I get that, they'll suck, but they're just doing it for fun. And I'm like, it's cool, man. Like I get it, like do your thing, have fun. But it ranged from like people who are like really serious and people are like hobby, which is fine. But there was like no one that was doing like any type of like crowd engagement of any kind, because I think that stuff's super fun. And you can get a crowd going, get them riled up a bit, because they're at a show.
Boosts your morale too.
Yeah, and you want to bring up the morale of the room in general. But we were like the only ones that did that. And like I was watching all these bands, and like the first like 2 or 3 went up, I was kind of feeling a little bit nervous. It was been a while that I performed at that point, like in front of people. But dude, like I got over it so quick, and I was like, yo, let's tear this up. Like I'm so ready, I'm like
so ready.
The second we get up there, man, I'm gonna freaking get these people going. We're gonna tell a bunch of stupid jokes, make them laugh. And we did that, and it went over so well. Like all these people just be kind of scattered doing their thing, and then we get up there, we're like, what's up? We did like 1 or 2 songs, we like blasted into it. We got them all like, we had all their attention. They were like focused on us the entire time. But like the people I played with too, they were super fun people. So it was like you just had all this different energy to bounce off each other and kind of like come up with a lot of witty stuff that you could just kind of like throw at them. And it was just like a really good time. And like I get into that so much because like everyone else is so focused on like themselves, on like, well, what if I, etc. And I'm like, well, what if you did this for them? What if you put on a good show for the people instead of thinking about yourself? That's where I go when it comes to that stuff. Because I'm like, you should do something cool for them so that they remember it.
Well, and if you're so focused on yourself, like the song loses like its kind of essence too, I feel like. Especially if it's a very lyrically driven song and it's supposed to tell a story. If you're so focused on not like messing up, you can't properly capture the emotion of the story you're trying to tell in the song. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're so nervous.
Yeah, and you're just really focused inward. It's like just get over yourself. And that kind of comes down to like whatever happens, happens.
Exactly.
And it's like if your voice cracks, whatever, just keep going through it.
Yeah, determination.
Determination. Attribute.
Determination station.
Attribute. Words.
Yeah, good stuff.
So that was good stuff, man, indeed. So be determined.
Don't give up.
Get over your fears.
Don't give up, people.
The only way to get over your fear is to keep going. You get the power to do what you want to do by doing it.
And when you mess up, learn from it and expect again to mess up. But don't let that stop you.
Prepare. Bitch. So with that said, let's move on to the last segment of today's episode.
The last laugh. Memes! Nah. So what you got, man? What you got?
We got a lot of damage!
A lot of...
You may have seen a few people test Flex Seal on a bucket. That's a lot of damage. How about a little more?
I know.
No, that's a lot of damage.
Epic.
I love refrigerators.
And that's it. And there's one more, right? Did you pick one?
Content is great today.
I love refrigerators.
I wonder if, like, when they made that, they're like, this is going to blow up. They're just like, there's no way this won't.
Yeah, they're like, oh no, just keep his confidence going.
Hey, come look at the site.
Oh, cool. Can you download the Foo Fighters?
Yeah. Hold on. What did I do?
You know it's illegal. Download copyrighted music. I'm taking you in.
Dude, Oh, I gotta go back.
Pay for music.
I'm taking you in.
Like the arm flailing.
Pay for music.
Dude, he's like, can you download the Foo Fighters? That was probably made in like '98.
Download the Foo Fighters? So on that note, anything you want to add there, Jameson?
Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Tell your parents about this channel, your sister, your stepsister, your grandparents,
Your godparents?
your godparents, your stepbro. If you have any horse, if you have horses, you should tell the horses.
Cousins.
You should be like, hey, you should watch this. Get it?
Go up to a complete stranger. Be like, hi, I hate you. Watch this.
It's potty time. All right, bye.